our Mummy and Baby series with Maeve. So let's start out today. You'll need possibly 2 blocks if you have them, and if you don't, you could use books also, anything like that. And we're going to start out in a cross-legged seated position. So you can grab your babe, just chuck them onto your lap, grab a toy. She's teething at the moment, so let's see how this goes. So just setting them onto your lap, crossing your legs, sitting nice and tall, and you can put your hands around your babe, put your hands on your knees, whatever, just to make sure they don't fall out. Close your eyes, think about lengthening up your spine. I always like to say it's imagine like you have a string at the top of your head, pulling you up a little bit taller. So shoulders relax down, and then just sit nice and tall. Sometimes also what might be helpful is if you sit on a block, and the block will lift your hips up a little bit higher if you have a bit of trouble staying more tall and long like this. So let's just take 5 big deep breaths. Think about that rib cage breathing. So we're trying not to put a lot of pressure forcing out into the belly, but rather the rib cage is expanding. Take a couple more breaths here. Two more. Last one. Very good. All right, from here, let's just do a little bit of arm movement. So if they're okay in your lap, or set them in front of you. Up to you. I'm just gonna scoot her forward if she will. Excuse me. There you go. Okay, so from here, let's just take your right hand down, left arm reach it up, side bend, get a nice stretch off to the side. While you're here, take your arm for a few big circles all the way around, one direction. And then you can circle and roll your arm around the other way. And then side bend, stretch, reach all the way over to the side. And then switch. So you take your right hand down, left arm up, side bend, stretch over. Shake your head a little bit, roll your arm. A few circles around one direction. And you can circle, roll it around the other way. And then reach up, side bend, stretch over. Come back to the center. Let's take both hands, interlace your fingers behind your head. So inhale, lift the chest, pull the kind of heart up. Try not to hike your shoulders up as well. Keep your shoulders down. Exhale, curl, round down, elbows towards your chest, and just curl in. Take a little bit, just hang here for a little while. Sway yourself a little side to side, side to side. Should feel really nice in the upper back and the shoulders, especially when these babes get a little bit heavier. Come up again, inhale, elbows back, chest lifts, maybe you lean back slightly, exhale, curl down, round down towards your belly. Sway again, side to side, just move the body. Good. Come back up, keep your elbows behind your head. Now, think that string at the top of your head, so keeping your body nice, long, and tall. And then I want you to exhale, side bend to your right side. Just go slow, and we're trying not to just crunch into the side, but keeping long on both sides. So again, that string is pulling you even as you move over to the side. You can kind of like press your legs down to the floor, and that's going to help to ground you so you don't kind of fall over to the side. And then come back to the center. So we'll inhale, lengthen, get long, stay long, exhale, side bend over to the left side. Keeping the elbows back, keeping your chest facing forward in front of you, not turning down towards the floor. And then come back to the center. Same thing, keep those elbows back, lengthen on long spine, exhale, twist to the right. Use your exhale to twist. And then come back to the center. Inhale, lengthen, get long, exhale, twist to the left. feel your waist, side muscles of your abdomen working, obliques. Come back to the center. Let's do both those one more time. Lengthen, get long. Exhale, side bend to the right. Come back to the center. Lengthen and long, side bend to the left. Come back to the center. Lengthen long. Exhale, twist to the right. Keep your elbows where they are. Try not to like move with your arms. Really use your center. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist to the left. And then come back to the center. Very good. Release your arms. And then just do a few neck rolls. Roll your head around a few circles, one direction. And then circle, roll your head around the other way. Good. And then just for a little fun, if your babe's in front of you, hold on to him. Inhale, take a breath. Exhale, lift him up. And then lower him down. Okay? So you don't have to go too high. If you are feeling comfortable and they're not too heavy, you can lift them all the way up, or just lift a little ways. It's still going to be good. But let's recruit that exhale, that blow before you go as you lift. I should let go of my shirt. Inhale, take a breath. Exhale, lift him up. And lower him back down. Okay, let's do that 2-3 more times. Let's do 3 more times. Inhale, take a breath. Blow before you go. Exhale, lift. Just won't let go of my shirt. Let's do one more. Inhale, take a big deep breath in. Exhale and lift. Good. Again, don't worry about how high you lift. You're still gonna get some good work out of them, just lifting them part way. Okay, now let's flip over onto hands and knees. I am going to keep her sitting here facing forward. But on hands and knees, if you want to bring your babe in front of you so that they're facing up towards you. And actually, I'll just do that too. Let's do that. Okay, so lie your babe down. Hey. And then come into this quadruped position on top, over them. Okay, and then we're going to do a little cat-cow from here. Yeah. So you're going to tuck your toes under and then drop your belly. Arch, and then try not to sink in your shoulders. Keep your shoulders strong. Pull your hands back towards your knees and make some funny faces if you want. Exhale, untuck the toes, curl round your spine like a C, and then push, like you're pushing the mat further apart under your knees and hands. Move your head a little side to side. Tuck the toes, drop the belly. Arch. Pull. More about the pull here rather than really dropping your belly down. If you have a bit of a diastasis recti, you don't want to keep overstretching into that linea alba line. So try not to just drop the belly, but think more pulling the arms so you get it more in that upper back. Exhale, untap, curl, round the spine. Again, like you're trying to push your hands forward, drive your knees back. Get a little bit of that belly pulling up and in. Stay here and then just move your hips left and right, side to side, side to side. Left and right. Yeah. Move them around and then maybe do a few circles. Walk your hands forward a little bit further and then just like a hula hoop, circle all the way around one direction. And then circle around the other way. Hello. Good. And then from here, we're just going to do a little bit of hip rotation. So if you can stay on your hands, or if you're brave and you want to come onto your forearms and get real close so they can poke you, up to you. I might try to do forearms here. It's a little bit easier to lock out kind of the spine because we don't want to have a lot of spine movement. We just did some spine movement, now we don't want to do it. We want to just have our hips rotating and moving around. So I'm going to bring my knees a little bit closer together. I'm on my forearms, and again, you can be forearms or arms. Arms is probably harder because you have to keep your arms super straight. So a little easier is to come onto your elbows. And then you're going to lift your right heel. Well, let's lift the right leg up first. So your right heel lifts up. Notice as I lift my leg up, I'm not dropping in my belly. And again, on my forearms, it's a little bit harder to be able to drop. So I'm lifting my heel up towards the sky, and then I'm going to open my knee out to the side, and then I'm not letting my hips shift. Bringing my knee up towards my elbow, and then back in towards my knee. And then I'm going to reverse. So up to the elbow, out and around. Think dog peeing on a fire hydrant. Leg up and down. And then again, lift the heel up towards the ceiling. Open out to the side, up and around, trying not to shift your weight over to the left side. Keep it in the center. And then back up, knee towards the elbow, out and around. Trying to do these dynamic hip rotation. One more. Heel up towards the sky. Open the knee out and around. Hopefully your babe isn't gouging your eye out like mine's trying. Back up to the elbow, out and around, heel up to the sky, and down. Okay, so that one's actually quite hard to do and minimize movement. So if you find that you're really like moving all around the place, just know that you want to work on becoming a little bit more neutral and in the center. And one way that'll help you be able to tell, because sometimes you don't really know unless you're looking in a mirror, if you have a block, put it onto your lower back. So if the block falls off, you're definitely twisting and moving to the sides too much. So let's try it again. With a block, with a book, anything that can fall off and it won't break. Let's do the other side. So start with your knees a little bit close together. You're lifting first the heel up towards the sky. And then keep your heel closer towards your butt rather than getting your leg long. Another nice one I'll tell people to put is a ball and squeeze it on the back of their knee pit. So 3 times. Bring the knee out to the side, up towards the elbow, and then in knee to knee. And then reverse the knee up to the elbow, out and around, heel up, and then knee to knee. So that's one. Let's do 2 more. Lift the heel up towards the sky, open the knee out to the side, up to the elbow, and then in knee to knee, and then up to the elbow, out to the side, heel up, knee to knee. Last one. Press the heel, squeeze up, open the knee out to the side, up to the elbow, in towards the center, knee to knee, and then reverse knee up to the elbow, out and around, heel up, knee to knee. So ideally, those hips weren't moving around, the block stayed on your back, and you're keeping yourself really true into hip movement and not spine or shoulder movement. So just warming up our hips a little bit there. Now let's get into a little bit more stretch and a little bit of work into the inner adductors and the outer hips. So now take your babe, and then you can put them, you're going to turn so that you can have your leg, so that I'm going to face forward so that I'm going to keep both legs onto the mat. So I'm going to start with my right leg out to the side, and we're just going to set bump down here. And you can lie them down, you can sit them down, whichever that you choose. We might be a little cranky poos about that. Okay, so I'm in one knee down and the other leg is straight out to the side. And then I want to have my foot not pointed out, but maybe turn it in so that your toes are pointing forward as much as you can, that you can keep your whole foot onto the floor. So taking a block, you're going to put a block, so it's like you're doing a side plank with a knee down. So putting a block over to your side, take your left hand down, and then just feel this out first. I want you to try to lift your leg up off the ground. And then you might just need to adjust and move the block, move your knee, but you don't want to be sitting with your hips back. You want your hips pushing forward. So let's take your top right leg, flex the foot, and then we're going to lift and lower. So you want to lift and then slowly lower down. Don't just drop it down. Lift up and lower. Let's do 3 more. Lift up. You don't want to crunch either in your side waist. You want to feel this just on the outside of the hip. And lower. Your bottom leg is also working quite a bit too. Last one. Hold it, stay there. Breathe. See if you can do a few little lifts. Up and down, up and down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the leg down, come back up, and then just side bend stretch. Right hand down, left arm up, side bend over. Just take a few breaths. Okay, now you're going to grab your block to your side, bring it forward. So now if the babe's lying down, you can just stare or look down at him. And then put your hands onto 2 blocks. So try to square your hips towards the floor. Your leg is still extended over to the side. And then I just want you to rock back and forth, back and forth. So again here, you don't necessarily need blocks. You could also just put your hands on the ground. If your hips are really tight, your inner thighs are really tight, then you'll definitely want blocks because that'll help you to get this stretch a little bit easier. If you are a little bit more flexible, hands onto the ground would be more of a stretch for you. Okay, so you can make it as big or as little as you want to. I've got my hands on the ground now, and then I'm just shifting my weight back and forth, back and forth. So I'm sitting back, and I'm really getting a nice stretch onto the inside of my leg as I move back and forth. Now, just quickly, let's add a little isometric work here. So from here, just lean back slightly, and then I want you, your outstretched right leg, I want you to gently start to press it down into the floor. So imagine that this leg is pushing down and you're trying to slide it in towards you. It's not going anywhere, but you're just adding this little bit of isometric work. Keep your foot flat to the floor, hold that here, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then release. And then just shift again, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So your supporting leg is working a lot as well. But we're getting a nice bit of stretch and some strengthening onto your inner adductors here on the right leg. Okay, do it a few more times. Just find some spots that feel really good to stretch it in. I can really feel a good stretch as you shift your hips back. Good. And then let's release that leg, bring it back into the center. Let's take it over to the other side. So grab one block and you're going to set up your half side plank with knee down. Stretching your leg out, and then again just test it. We want to be able to lift your left leg off the ground. Okay? So if you need to move the block, if it's too close or too far, you want to have the wrist kind of under your shoulder. And again, don't sit your hips back here. We'll do that later. But push your hips forward. Then you're going to lift, flex foot, up. So we want to keep kind of from your waist up, still. And lower. And as you lift this outside leg, when you lower down the leg, you're not just dropping it. Let's do 3 more. Lift up and lower. So no crunching in the side waist, but just feeling your outer hips working. Hold here, stay here, stay long, and then we're going to do little lifts. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lower it down, come back up, and then let's side bend stretch over to your side. Right arm lifts up, still pushing your hips forward. Don't duck butt, sit them back. Keep them pressing forward. You're getting a nice stretch into the front of that hip stuff here. Shake your head, roll your arm around. Okay. And then coming back forward, grab your block, grab your other block, bring them forward in front of you. So again, each side, each leg is going to be a little bit different. This side might be tighter or less tight than the other one. And you're going to have your foot onto the floor, toes pointing forward, and then you're just going to shift back and forth, back and forth. So you can start high, and then if you're not feeling a great big stretch, then you can come down, bring the blocks down one, or you can just take the blocks out for now, and then shift back and forth. Okay, so you want to try it again like you've got your hips squared to the floor. So a lot of people will say, you imagine like you have a glass of water on your hips, you don't want it to fall over, so that you're not just like one hip up, one hip down. We want to just have them a little bit level here as we shift back and forth. So again, the more further back I shift, the more stretch I'll feel. But it depends. Depends where you're tight and what you're experiencing in your body. So shifting back and forth a few times, and then pause, and then we're going to do a little isometric work. So I want you to push your outstretched leg down into the floor, and like you're trying to drag it in together, bringing it in towards your midline, working those inner adductors. So not hard, but just push down and then pull the leg in so that you feel some stuff working. Push down, try to drag, slide that leg in towards you. Hold here, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then slowly release. Hello. Make some funny faces at your babe. Hi. Sorry, I'm ignoring you. Shift back and forth a few times. 3, 2. Very good. And then let's slide that leg back into the center. All right. So let's finish off with a stretch. Let's come into your butterfly pose. So you can, again, use your babe. You can butterfly around them. You can bring them up onto your legs so they have a little bit of a incline. And then just sitting tall, walk your hips back slightly. You can move a little side to side, side to side. You can move their little legs to the side so they aren't pushing into you. You can try to walk forward, You might not be able to go quite as far forward as me, but just do as much as you can. And if you're here, that's great. Just work with elbows, driving your elbows down towards the floor. You'll get a good stretch. And if you can go further, you can give some little kisses. All right. So just swaying a little side to side, maybe close your eyes, take a few breaths. Actually, another option, if you are a little bit tighter to be able to do this, use your blocks again, and then you can either put your hands onto your blocks to help you kind of keep a long spine, or maybe you can get down onto your elbows here. So work with any different variations. You doesn't have to look like me. Every single body is different, so just work with where you are and breathe, most importantly. So as you're leaning forward here, just take a few breaths. Maybe you close your eyes or not, but I want you to think about breathing into the back of the ribs. So feel the rib cage expand, inhale. Feel it fall. Deep breath, expand. And feel it fall. One more. Very good. All right, now walk your way back up. And I think we're good from there for today. So thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed that class. A nice one for a little bit of some hip work and stretch and strengthening. All good things for your pelvic floor. You don't just have to do Kegels. Working on strengthening all around the hips is going to be one of the best things that you can do for a healthy, resilient pelvic floor. So thanks for joining us. Have a great day, and hope we'll see you again for the next one. Bye.